Well, it's funny, isn't it? How you can panic based on one little snapshot into a series because we looked at that opening game against Millwall in the last episode with Luton Town and we thought, where are the goals? Where are the chances going to come from? Is this going to be a boring season? Well, far from it, I'm pleased to report. We did a little bit more transfer work towards the end of the window, but most importantly, it's been raining goals at both ends. We've got entertainment personified. And although we're not quite as good as the real Luton side that season that managed to get to the top of the table by November, as we come towards the end of September, at the very least, we're looking very promising. Yes, hello and welcome to part 3 of our FM06 Let's Retro series from Luton Town. With nostalgia personified in this one, and I tell you what, I'm a very happy man because while this has not panned out at all in the way I expected in terms of how we're playing, where our goals are coming from, and how on earth we're producing results, I'm very pleased with the outcomes because as you can see from the snapshot screen here, we are in 7th place after 9 games with one on TV to come today. We've come back a little later than planned because a League Cup tie got in the way of the double header we wanted to show. And it's our first TV game of the season. So will we show up for the cameras or not? I hope you're looking forward to finding out. If you are, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. But for now, we've got to reflect on tactically what has ended up being a masterstroke for reasons that I really didn't expect. As you can see, we conceded a goal a game and there's been a couple of really poor defensive displays in this season. But as you can also see, we are scoring goals galore. 26 in 11 matches across all competitions, albeit 8 of those have come in 2 League Cup ties. But we are looking pretty handy and not much of that goal threat is coming from the man we expected. Because if we go and have a look at what's been happening here, at Luton Town, the fixtures have been pretty ironic because after that 0-0 draw against Millwall, we had a really good but really scrappy 1-0 win at Leeds. Lee Grant was brilliant. Kevin Foley got man of the match for the second game in a row. And Keith Keane, of all people, playing in centre midfield, popped up with a winner, was also one of our worst performers, ironically. Then we got a 1-1 draw at home to Coventry. I thought, yeah, things are looking fairly normal now. Nice to see a striker on the score sheet in Dean Morgan, who came in for a poorly performing Warren Feeney at the time. Then things start to get a little crazy and I have no idea why it changed because we didn't change anything tactically, but we had a 3-2 defeat at Norwich. Dean Morgan got a brace in that one. A 5-0 win at Wickham in the League Cup. In fairness, a League Two side, but Vine and Feeney up front together both got 2 apiece and Steve Robinson back on form with a goal as well. Back to fitness, which was crucial too. A 3-1 win followed at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Warren Feeney, maybe unfortunate to be on the bench after his 2 goals in midweek, but was forced on after 5 minutes due to a Dean Morgan injury. He just returned in the last League Cup tie, but Warren Feeney came on and scored a hat-trick, so I had absolutely no complaints about it. Again, one of those little bits of luck that just sort of worked out for us, despite me not really making the right decision. We then had a bit of disappointment 2 days later, 3-4 defeat against Reading. We're actually 3-0 up in this game after 41 minutes, but we'll gloss over that. Reading had the near post corner tactic and it works to treat for them. I'm deliberately trying to avoid that. After that, though, it has been plain sailing with 10 points out of 12, 7 out of 9 in the league and a win in the cup. A 5-1 victory away at Plymouth, definitely the star of the show. Another hat-trick for Warren Feeney. A first of the season for the man we thought would be the star in Steve Howard, but still a 10 out of 10 performance. We'll look at why in a minute. Rowan Vine getting the other off the bench. A home to Brighton, Ahmet Berkovic the hero as we nicked a point in a rare home game where we were very much second best. But we followed it up with a great away performance at Palace. Probably the star performance of the season, Howard and Berkovic with 1 each. Before a 3-0 win in the League Cup, Peter Holmes off the mark for the season. A Rowan Vine with 2 coming into the team, giving me a little bit of a selection dilemma. But let's talk about what's happening in the centre forward position because tactically, we'd basically set up everything to play around Steve Howard or whoever was in this target forward role. But Steve Howard has turned creator because we're playing up to a target man to his head and asking him to flick it on for a striker that's running in behind. And rather than Howard getting goals from crosses and from set pieces, what we're actually seeing is Howard winning flick-ons, knockdowns and whatever else, holding the ball up and producing a display of assists that probably Lionel Messi or a Cesc Fabregas or someone like that would be proud of. We've got our own little Paul Scholes, albeit a bit more of it's through the aerial threat. But Steve Howard has got 7 assists in 9 league matches, only 2 goals, but his performances are brilliant. He's one of the best strikers in the league. And while I'd like to set him up to score more goals, I'm a bit fearful of changing it the way we're playing. He's been absolutely remarkable and we're going really well. So far, so good. Very happy with that. There is one little thing I know I forgot to mention in the last episode. The save actually crashed before we got to the start of the season in episode 2. So I had to start the save again. And a few of the young players in the team have got completely random attributes, which I didn't realise. So as a result of that, Zach Barrett is significantly worse than I showed you in episode 1. He's now got no handling, no composure, no jumping or agility, which is not ideal. One that maybe slightly benefited from it was Leon Barnett, who is pretty much the same, but nowhere near as aggressive, nowhere near as determined, but better tackling and positioning. So I don't think I can have too many complaints. He's not quite as quick though, which is a slight concern. But otherwise, everyone's the same. It's really good going so far. But it's quite funny because although the results are as good as I could have hoped, and almost as good as they were in real life at this point, the one thing that is surprising me is how it's come about, because it's not how I'd planned the setup at all. So I'm pretty surprised that it's worked out that way. But Warren Feeney, 10 goals in 8 appearances. He is the star of the show. And he's even featuring again for Northern Ireland. So working out better than it did in real life. Let's put it that way. We have got to show you some of these young players that are really improving as well. Kevin Foley, wanted by various clubs. He's improving no end, playing regularly for Ireland's under-21s. As is Keith Keane, who's essentially become a starter in centre midfield. He's playing brilliantly. He's probably slightly better than Steve Robinson, who can't stay fit. And although Robinson is improving again now, I feel like Keane has to get the nod because this season, it looks like we're going to stay up pretty comfortably. So let's just try and build a team for the future. So it doesn't work out like real life, where they finished 10th first season and then went down the following one, having sold half the team. So all is looking pretty good at the moment. I don't think we could have asked for it to go any better. But let's have a little look at the transfer news, because while we didn't manage to get any more players in terms of transfers or loans, while we looked at a few and got a few deals close, we did have a couple more going out of the club. None permanently, but on loan, we did get rid of Robert Beckwith, who has gone to Cheltenham for a season on loan. He's improving very slightly and he's playing regularly, which is great, getting a good rating overall in League 2. And as you saw a minute ago from my spoiler, we've also loaned out Zach Barrett now to Grimsby, who will hopefully improve, but given his balance of attributes in the new save, I'm not sure it's going to work out quite as well. You don't really want your goalkeeper's best attribute to be flair. But either way, things looking great on the pitch. We've now got a double header over 3 days against QPR on TV and then against Hull City on Tuesday night. I must say, while the fitness concerns aren't quite as bad as they are in the modern FMs when you're playing every 3 games, it's still the weeks where we've struggled the most. So you saw at home to Brighton, we were second best in that midweek fixture there, where we played Reading 2 in 3 days. We struggled to hang on in the second half. So definitely seems to be the periods that we're the most difficult to manage. And unfortunately, we've got another one of those coming up now. So let's go and get through to the first of today's double header. We are the last teams in action in the league, and we have got an opportunity to leapfrog 6th place QPR into the playoffs, albeit they've got a very good team in this year's edition, and it's going to be pretty tough. Let's go and get our first 11 pick, because the reserve team all played in the cup. As you can see, a couple of them, particularly in attacking areas, are really struggling physically. So let's get our best team picked. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, here we go then. Pretty much back to the 11 you would expect, and the substitutes bench has been picked on conditioning. So Rowan Vine's been in great form. Morgan had been injured, but Vine is knackered now, as is Enoch Shawunmi. While not perfect, the likes of Morgan, Robinson and Craney are all around 90% condition and are all officially listed as match fit. So for half an hour or 20 minutes today, I'm sure they'll all be fine. Nothing's changed tactically, we're still being aggressive. However, my voice is starting to run out. So let's go and get through to these 2 games and see if we can make it through the commentaries. As we're into the first half, away at QPR, Paul Furlong, a future Luton player as it is in this universe, is up front. He's another one in that sort of Steve Howard camp. But this is in the days where they had Rowlands and Cook out wide, who are brilliant. They've got pace at the back. They've got quality in the team. So let's just see how it pans out, shall we? Let's get the player ratings up and head into the first half. And we're going straight from the kickoff. Berkovic out on the right-hand side as we look to build up a key chance here. Foley down the right to Berkovic. This could be a good start. Feeney's in the middle. Good save by the keeper. And Howard couldn't quite get to the rebound. Almost pandemonium in the first 15 seconds. Straight from the kickoff down the right-hand side. And that is almost the sort of goal that we actually set up tactically. Just Feeney on the end of it instead of Howard. as Bignut has got the free kick at the back, and now QPR looking to get us back. Sol Davis flies into a tackle though, doesn't make the second one, but Paul Underwood is covering him and finds a lovely switch to Berkovic, who's surging forward, the Croatian sensation. Lovely through ball to Warren Feeney. Keeper comes, can't make it, but Feeney can't hit the target. As much as he's scored 10 already this year, he has missed the target a fair few times, and that was another example there, but a really positive start as Paul Underwood looks for the ball down the left, intercepted to Martin Rowlands, who will carry it forward. QPR looking a threat here. Stefan Moore into the box. Chance to shoot, but he's forced inside. And in the end goes wide to Bignut on the right. But there's options in the middle. Furlong's one. And Lee Grant, brilliant signing. The only permanent one this summer. He's done a really good job so far and gets that one to safety. Rowlands puts the corner in though. Chris Coyne's there. Nearly called him Danny Coyne. That's the old Welsh goalkeeper. Out for a throw on the left. And we see out the first danger of the game. Well, Steve Lomas off injured at the moment. Can we take advantage? Not while QPR have got the ball. Cook on the left-hand side. Being forced backwards, which is good for us. And Royce goes for the long kick downfield. Foley tries to get in and wins it. To Keith Keane and Nichols. Up towards Feeney. Everts in strong. But Sol Davis is there again. It's a big pump forward to Howard. He's got no pace, but he's got a big advantage here. In behind Steve Howard. Normally reliable. But not able to find a finish again. Saved one-on-one. I mean, I don't mean this rudely. We could be 3 up here. We've been really strong in this game so far. We've not been able to take the chances. You have a look at the match stats. We've had all the shots on target. We've just not made it count as of yet. Lomas has it in the middle though, and he's giving it away. Keith Keane in to nick it. Feeney in behind. Just over hit. 10 minutes to the break though. I think you can see why we're doing so well. We're pressing hard when they get to halfway, albeit I've set up, as you saw tactically, with a fairly defensive mindset. And with a fairly direct counter-attacking approach, but the rate at which we're getting in behind is really threatening teams, and particularly those that are coming out and attacking us as a relegation favourite. Whoever's up there, like Feeney or Morgan, they're getting space to run into, which is fantastic. Lee Grant first into his first good save of the game, and with 5 to the break, we seem to be pretty comfortable. Grant gets that one as well. Now can we find the counter? Because this is where we're a threat. Get it up to Steve Howard, win that flick on for Feeney. Doesn't do it this time, and Lomas can break away. It's going to go wrong now, I've said it. Nichols can't make it, but he's in the second time, and he's cleared away again. Howard can't make it, but Coyne can. Underwood through to Feeney. Beats Everett to it, but it's a good recovery from the centre half, and Bignut can work down the line. What a game of football this is. Not the highest quality, but it's end-to-end. Feeney finds Berkovic, and it peters out. But at half-time, 0-0, or it looks like it's going to be 0-0. We're still coming back in the 45th minute. You've got to remember, this is a QPR side that are expected to be in the playoff chase, that are 6th in the league. We're giving them one hell of a game again, whatever the result is. It's a big switch of play from them here. Foley does well with it. He's got more defending to do here. Grant comes. He beats Furlong to it. Excellent stuff. And I think that will be 0-0 at the break, unless something ridiculous happens. Lee Grant should play out. It's not the best ball. Coyne able to get there. Davis downfield. Howard loses out in the air. Seems to be second best in those aerial duels today. That hasn't happened much. And Stefan Moore's in. Coyne can't get there. Lomas can. Over the bar. Grant had it covered. And now it is going to be half-time at 0-0. A really good first half display. Says hopefully the second half will be an improvement. I'll be happy if it stays like this. Let's talk to the lads. Let's tell them, well, we'll just show some encouragement. It's basic team talks in these games. No pre-match team talks. I really love those days. Just makes the games fly by. There's another former Luton man or future Luton man in his save on the bench in Kevin Gallant as Nichols clears one off the line there. We're under a bit of pressure early in the second half. Cook finds Doherty, wide again. Lee Cook with a chance to deliver. There's 5 in the box still. Got to be careful here. Berkovic does really well to get that out for a throw. An early escape in the second half. And now QPR really looking to put the hammer down as Cook comes down the right this time. Looks like he switched over. Furlong finds Moore and Lomas. Big switch to Rowlands, into Doherty, great football. Oh, it's just wide from Moore. Even though I'm the opposition, I almost wanted that to go in. It's a wonderfully worked move. But QPR miss out. They've got some tired legs back there. We've just seen a change already. I'm not sure. Was it the Furlong that came off? As Howard wins the flick on from Everett. Change of approach. He went on the other centre half. Flicked it on for Feeney. He's gone to the byline. Underwood's in the middle. Howard flicks it on. It's a great save. And Lomas clears downfield, but Foley will get there for Keane. He tries to find Nichols, but it doesn't come off. And Stefan Moore can break away. That is a glorious opportunity. But again, it goes begging. That's what we've had with Steve Howard, though. That's where those assists have been coming from. As Stephen Moore's in, it's a great save from Lee Grant. I don't know how this game's 0-0. There's been chances galore. And we're going to look at changes in a minute. There's 25 to go. Chris Coyne goes wide to Davis. Can we create one? Underwood to the edge of the box to Berkovic. Oh, lovely finish. We know he's got the technical quality. And Ahmet Berkovic on the edge of the box pops up with an absolute banger. Lovely finish into the corner. Keeper has no chance. And though Kevin Gallen, another Luton player of the future, is on, with 17 to go, it is 1-0 to Luton. And we're going to make our first changes here. Keith Keane is going to come off. We're going to go for a bit of experience. He'll be replaced by Steve Robinson. And I'm going to go up front, Morgan Fafini. Nice, simple one. Again, get experience on the pitch, get pace on the pitch, and hopefully those two will work out. Let's see how we go for another 5 or 10, and then we'll make one more sub to waste time. As here we are on the right-hand side again. Foley playing a 1-2 with Morgan from the throw-in. Steve Robinson works to the edge of the box. Good ball into Paul Underwood. 2-0 and he's onside. The assistant starts the run back to halfway. That was the first thing I looked at there. But it is another big away day for Luton Town. It's another big performance against a good side. And can we look at this as another opportunity to win? It could be a very special week. Oh, I've got to look at the final change in a minute as well. But this has been a magnificent performance. I'm going to go for a bit of pace at the back. I'm going to take off Sol Davis and bring on young Leon Barnett, who's done a really good job off the bench. Done a really good job when he covered Chris Coyne, albeit it did probably cost us in that Reading game. But other than that, he's been really good and he's done really well out on this left-hand side. 10 minutes remaining. It's been a wonderful away display. And while on another day without Lee Grant at his best, we might have conceded, it's been a really good performance. And look at him again. Steve Howard wins the flick on to release Dean Morgan. Fresh legs up front into the corner. That is the Steve Howard special this year. I had him down as the goal threat. He is the assist king. He is our very own Lionel Messi in a very different way. And Steve Howard flicks on for Dean Morgan. The substitute makes it 3-0 and a very comfortable performance on the road. What a result. What a display, Luton Town. And with 10 games played in a season, into the playoffs we go. Real life is taking shape. I hope that doesn't mean a second season relegation. What a display that is. The second best goal difference in the league. The top scorers in the division. And, well, up in 5th place. We cannot be disappointed with that. Let's get ahead to the midweek game against Hull and see if the lads can recover, because there's going to be a very different type of game, I feel. Well, as we return, I've just seen something that massively benefits us, because although Hull have moved up to 10th and scored more goals, they played their game on Sunday against Sheffield Wednesday. And back in these days, 2 days between fixtures, pretty normal. We had the bank holiday fixtures as well. But that means Hull, as well as having, 6 players out injured, including some key ones, Barnby, Dawson, Andrews, etc., are also now going to be absolutely knackered from the weekend fixture. You can see of those who started, there's 1 or 2 floating in the low 90s. So we might just have an advantage on that front. Does it mean they're going to sit a bit deeper? Let's go and find out. How are our team looking? Is everyone fit? Everyone who started last time is fit. The only decision I've got to make is Dean Morgan or Warren Feeney. But I'm going to stick with Morgan. I'm going to stick with the same 11 and 16. There was a temptation to chuck Rowan Vine on the bench. And you know what? I might still do that because he's been so good off there. His best performances have been in the cup. So do you know what? We're going to leave it for now. We've got another cup game in a couple of weeks. He can play against Ipswich. Let's just worry about this one. Kevin Foley upset because he was talked about in the media for a big move. And I said, I think he'll stay at Luton. He doesn't seem to be in too much agreement. But the same 11 to take the field against Hull City. They've had 1 day's less rest. But will it show in the performance? Let's go and find out. Well, a very defensive setup for our visitors here. You can see a couple of the stars of their promotion a couple of years later in real life. The likes of Myhill, Delaney, Ashby, all key players in that squad. But let's go and get through to the first half. Can we put a fiery start in? Can we get on the front foot? It's going to be a very different type of game, I feel, because Hull are set up to defend. And on the break, are we going to be able to deal with a different style? Because here's McPhee dropping deep, goes for the shot. Comfortably wide of the post. Not as quick of a lightning start for us, but we're happy enough. As long as we can get the first goal, we should be in a decent position here as Lee Grant goes for the big kick towards you-know-who. Steve Howard's there, wins it initially, but Rossiter gets a foot in. Nichols winning it off Ashby brilliantly, but they still come out with a ball do hole. McPhee's dropping very deep as that one striker. They're not really leaving anyone up on our back four. It's very different to anything we've faced this year. As Rossiter breaks down the right-hand side, into Price, who's cutting in from the wide area to McPhee, and that's off the woodwork. He lost Heikkinen, and we get away with one there. Underwood's counter stopped by a foul from Rossiter, but Hull have the best early chance here. 15 minutes gone. We really need to get on the front foot as Sol Davis plays it to Underwood, back to Chris Coyne, and now Davis steps over halfway. Underwood just about gets on the end of the pass, but now he's gone down. Did he pick up a knock or did he just fall? Not sure what happened there as Myhill clears poorly. Nichols wins it for Howard. Keith Keane gets in the second time though. Davis can bring it over halfway again. Nichols finds Keane and we look for a route forward. But for now, we've been forced backwards and wide. Berkovic finds Coyne yet again. Just waiting for the right pass. Berkovic inside to Heikkinen. It's not the best of passes, but he works it out to Davis on the left. It's a big switch that doesn't make it, but the ball back's awful. Feeney nicks in, and Warren Feeney is at it again. He can't stop. 11th goal of the season. He poaches after a terrible header aimed towards his own goalkeeper by the Hull left back. And we go 1-0 up, despite creating next to nothing in this first 20 minutes. And that's the sort of luck you need when you're struggling in a match early doors. Sylvan Ebanks-Blake is on the bench for them. God, what a young striker he is. Back when he was a United prospect. The nostalgia's going to hit me hard in this one. With 20 gone, it's been a really poor display. So our only shot on target as well. We've made it count. That's the key thing. As Heikkinen does really well to win the ball back for Nichols. And Grant goes wide to Sol Davis, who can bring it forward to Underwood. Davis on the overlap, up to Howard. We trust him to hold it up. And he does just that for Chris Coyne. And now Underwood. Lovely football to Keane. Berkovic is right. Cuts inside himself. Keane again to Foley. The two young Irishmen combine. And Feeney's got it on the right. To Foley again. Good ball in. Howard just misses it. Underwood can keep it in on the left, I think. Not quite. Out for a goal kick. We still lead 1-0 with 30 on the clock. As we press forward with just 5 to the break now and a long throw downfield from Hull, Ian Ashby able to nick in for the second ball. It's forward towards McPhee, who's still dropping and causing a bit of trouble here. Lovely footwork to beat Nichols. Got Coyne out of position too. But because he's not got much support up with him, he's just going from distance. And Lee Grant had that one covered comfortably. 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half. And it has been a much more drab match. However, we lead 1-0. Feeney's pounced on a mistake. And I'm going to declare myself pleased. It's not about producing brilliant performances every time. When we're playing 3 games a week, it's about getting the win. And at the moment, we've broken down a pretty tough and stern defence. And now Steve Howard's on the end of another set piece. Doesn't quite hit the target this time. But 5 gone in the second half. We've got some defending to do. McPhee finds Price. Underwood at the byline. It's cleared away. Foley can't get there. Heikkinen misses his challenge. And Woodhouse puts it in. Foley was a little bit over-exuberant there. Just forced inside. Didn't need to go. And it left a little space at the back post. It's 1-1. And his first ever goal for Hull. Some things never change in FM. A player's first goal for the club always comes against your team. Just coming up to the hour mark, it's still 1 apiece. I think we might look at changes a bit earlier in this one. Though we are at the other end now as I go to think about it. Davis throws into Underwood. The cross is blocked as it goes towards Keith Keane. It's out for a corner kick. We'll see this one out. And then we will make the changes. Underwood's going to deliver. There's loads in the box. Up to the back post. It's missed by Davis. Welsh gets there. It's downfield. We've got to watch out for Ebanks-Blake. He's electric up the top. And Grant clears the ball downfield. Is it going to reach Steve Howard? You bet it is. Wins the flick on for Davis. That's an awful touch. Sol Davis, that's poor. Coyne wins it back though. Skipper saves the day. Underwood will chase and keep it in. Can he find the cross? No, but he's fouled by Rossiter, who surely has to get booked now. He's done 3 of those just from the highlights we've seen. And eventually the yellow card does come out. Let's see the free kick. Can we regain the lead? Underwood in towards Heikkinen. Loses the header. Ebanks-Blake away. It's out for a throw-in. Let's look at changes we can make. We've got to try and change the tide in this game because it's getting a bit too comfortable for Hull. Paul Underwood's not having a good one. Berkovic could switch over. Edwards could go to the right. Little bit more pace there. I think that might help us out. Again, Feeney scored, but he's not done much else. So we're going to go for Morgan off the bench. And I'm also going to make the change. I think I'm going to go for Morale here because I know it's been a bit of a struggle for Foley. So I'm going to give it 5 more. But then I'll probably put Robinson on in midfield and move Keith Keane to right back. And just give Foley 15 minutes off. But we'll see if anything changes in the immediate. There's a few others that have dropped to a 6 out of 10, and Kevin Foley is one of them. So I think that is going to be the sub as we planned it. 12 minutes to go. Robinson back into midfield, bit more experience, little bit of quality in the passing range. The two centre-halves not having the best game either. We've still got a chance to go on and win this. As I've said before, 4 points in a week ain't bad. I'd love to make it 6 as Berkovic loses out, but Nichols on the edge. Chance to shoot. Kevin Nichols. Good save. Boaz Myhill, always good reflexes. And he's shown it again there as it's out for a corner kick. It's going to be taken by Steve Robinson into the front post. Heikkinen flicks on. Away as far as Edwards. Deflects all over the place and cleared downfield. And it must be getting tense up here into stoppage time because I'm getting genuine cramp in my hamstring, which never happens when I'm sitting in my office. As McPhee breaks away, it could get worse for us here. Coyne does really well to mop up and Grant clears downfield. Steve Howard up, but he doesn't win this one. Leon Court beats him in the air and it's through towards Ebanks Blake. Heikkinen does well and it's long towards Howard. He's got there. He's got Morgan with him. Will he need him? Steve Howard, almost the hero. Good save by the goalkeeper. Should he have passed it a bit earlier? We'll never know, but it's a great opportunity and maybe the best one we're going to get. Nichols on the left-hand side to Davis. I didn't see how many were added on. It's a big ball in towards Edwards and it's cleared away. I think the best chance has just gone. Heikkinen to Keane, who loses out. As long as we don't lose the game. McPhee breaks away. Heikkinen back in. Brilliant defending. This Luton team has got resilience. I'll give it that. Morgan loses out in the air. It's long towards Grant, who's come a long way. He does well with it. Composed to find Nichols. And now Howard. Will there be one more chance? No, there won't. The final whistle is blown. It's a frustrating day at home, as it has been a couple of times. But 4 points out of 6, if you'd offered me that at the start, I certainly would have taken it. A really good performance overall and a really good 2 games. You can see we're definitely the aggressors there. We just couldn't make it count in the end. Let's go and see where that leaves us and when we're next going to be back. And we'll obviously see the messages about this game. Hull hold out for a draw. We're keeping a little unbeaten run going. And to be fair, Myhill did do pretty well in that one. Let's have a look at where the table is at the minute. We're in 4th place after everyone's played 11. Norwich and Palace are the 2 best teams in the division. They just come down in real life. Reading are pretty good too. They obviously won the league this season in real life. If we go through and have a look at the Luton fixtures, let's see when we're going to return. And of course, it is going to be our next TV game. And that's because it's the derby. Watford at home in the Championship. Either side of that, we've got Leicester away and Southampton away. Probably go for Southampton as they're a relegated side. We won't have Craney and they're probably higher up the division at that point. But one of those 2 games along with the derby is what we're going to return for in the next episode. A massive one there though, a really good start to the season. I hope you enjoyed it as much as me. Let me know, is it just a positive start? Will we fall away or should I up my expectations for this year? I don't know if I'm a tactical genius or if we're just getting lucky early on, as the Luton team did in real life in this season. Let me know your thoughts on that. If you did enjoy it, chuck a thumbs up on the video. We're here every weekday with this retro series until we get bored of it or it reaches a natural conclusion. So hopefully you guys will watch along with me. If you want to stay up to date with it, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. You can find us on Twitch if you want to keep up with the more modern games in FM24. And of course, there's plenty more to come on this channel. Thank you very much for your support as always. I'll see you again here next time because it's a big one. A home derby against Watford. And that's the one that the fans won't let me lose.